Eva Braun was an ordinary girl from an ordinary family.
She took no part in the planning of the final solution. She didn't give any orders for Einsatzgruppers to go into a city and kill men, women, and children.
Earning her place in history as the companion of one of the world's most notorious leaders.
She liked nice clothes and liked makeup, so she had the type of a sort of air of normality about her, except for this connection with Hitler.
And anything that enhanced his emotional satisfaction or his emotional needs only empowered him to do more evil.
So Eva was born on the 6th of February 1912. She was the second daughter of the parents. The oldest daughter is Ilse, 3 years older, then Gretel is 3 years younger.
Eva chose instead to focus on makeup, diet, clothes, and boys.
She liked all the sorts of things that that young women like, and she liked having a good time. She liked partying, very keen on dancing.
In 1928, 16-year-old Eva was sent by her parents to the Catholic Youth Women's Institute, a convent school in the German village of Simbach, a diversionary measure that failed. Eva left the convent the following autumn, telling a classmate it was not the life for me.
I think you see the situation, the family situation, it's, coming up in this time, it was quite normal. She was a rebellious teenager.
Eva returned home to find that her older sister Ilse was working for a doctor, which meant financial independence from her parents. Taking her cue from Ilse, Eva answered an ad hanging in the window of a small photography shop owned by Heinrich Hoffmann. Hoffmann's main client was a rapidly rising political party called the National Socialists, and the walls of his shop were adorned with photos of the party's fiery leader, a 40-year-old Austrian, Adolf Hitler.
Politically, Berlin was left-orientated, but the mood was for a national reawakening, and Hitler thoroughly took advantage of this.
By 1929, the Nazi Party had a considerable number of seats in the German Reichstag. Heinrich Hoffmann, mindful of Adolf Hitler's growing popularity, wanted to keep his best client happy, and he knew that Hitler had a fondness for pretty young girls.
And one evening, Hitler stopped by Hoffmann's shop, and there was Eva Braun, standing on a ladder after the shop had closed. She was arranging something on the shelves, and Hitler saw Eva Braun and got a good look at her legs, and Hitler liked what he saw. Eva had shortened her dress a little, and then Hoffmann said, "Come down there, Eva. I would like to introduce you to the man here, Mr. Wolf." At that time, he used the name Wolf as a camouflage, and Eva did not recognize him. She did not know that it was Hitler. She was totally unacquainted with politics. And she said, "Greetings, Mr. Wolf." And after Hitler was gone, Hoffmann said, "That was Hitler." "Him?" she said. "I don't know anything about him." The famous Hitler. He then came more often, and the whole thing solidified and intensified, and Hitler succeeded in winning Eva's sympathy and affection.
Hitler was attracted by the young girl. She was attracted by a man 23 years older than her, and I think no one can blame her for that, being attracted by an older man.
The comrades told us, that's the boss at the Berghof, Eva Braun. So one behaved oneself accordingly, since she was the boss there. After all, there were 12 employees working there, and she had the high command.
She bought a bunch of clothes and expensive items, a silver fox coat. She got a camera that took color pictures, and she did all sorts of physical activities. Hitler placed a Mercedes with a chauffeur at her disposal, and she also had plenty of money because she wanted a lot of clothes.
She had a late breakfast and then would go out for a walk. She had a cook who lived in the house year-round, and she felt good there.
Then she had the little dogs, and she was running in the middle, barking and laughing with the dogs, and the SS men stood around. The SS men were watching her.
Throughout the 1930s, Hitler's enemies were either imprisoned or eliminated by his secret police.
What she cared about is going for a swim, mountain climbing, and having, quote-unquote, her Führer beside her as much as possible.
Eva spent her days at the Berghof, sunbathing, exercising, and watching prohibited American films. She even referred to the estate as the Grand Hotel, after seeing the Greta Garbo film of the same name. She had a bowling alley installed in the cellar and access to the finest perfumes and cosmetics. She changed outfits hourly and had her hair styled daily.
She was not living in reality. She was always busy with beauty, with sports, and she tried to push away everything that was disturbing her.
Let's turn now to the period of defeat. Was Hitler worried by the suffering of the people in the air raids? Did he see the destruction in Berlin when he returned to make his headquarters there?
No, no. He never saw, and he always tried not to see. He came when it was dark. The car searched for a way which was nearly undestroyed, and Hitler never had the feelings he must see with his own eyes what the war was. He lost more and more his sense of reality. But suddenly, on April 22nd, I think, yes, there he come out of the military conference with a totally stony face and dark, threatened eyes, and he called us to come to this little ante-room, and he sent for Eva Braun and for the secretaries and for the secretary of for the cook who was still in Berlin, who cooked for him. And then he came in and said with a monotone voice and so unkindly as we never have heard him speak to us, "Ladies, please pack your things at once. You have to go to the south. The last aeroplane starts in about an hour." And then was a silent. "No," he said, it's all lost. There's no hope. You have to go." And then was a moment of absolute silence, and we stood like shocked, and suddenly Eva Braun made a few steps, went to Hitler and said, "But you know I don't leave you. I stay on your side. You know that. Don't try to send me away." When we saw Eva Braun deciding to remain, suddenly I heard my own voice saying, I will stay too. And the other girls did so too. And we had a very strange feeling of we talked without consciousness.
What did how did Hitler
and
react?
Hitler had a look and looked at us, and suddenly there came a sort of sad smile on his lips, and he said, "Oh, I wished my generals would be so brave as you."
She married in the last days because to show the family I am true to myself. Maybe that was a reason, but I can't understand why. And there is no normal reason for a wedding and dying after 36 hours.
On the afternoon of April the 30th, 1945, Hitler and Eva, now man and wife, committed suicide. Hitler swallowed a cyanide capsule and shot himself. Eva administered poison.